Hi, I'm Abby. Um, the lack of mental health education in schools today is shocking. It seems young people only learn about mental health when they go through it themselves. The breaking down the stigma and misconceptions of mental health needs to start in the schools. School is where a person's first friendships are made and their self worth is created. It's also where students need to learn that their behaviors towards others can drastically affect someone else. Picking on the so called strange kid can cause years of self worth issues for that child. Teachers, parents, and administrators need to lead that forefront when it comes to teaching children about acceptance. Mental health is a community issue. Parents need to be educated about mental health so they know how to understand their child and the steps they need to take to help them. Some adults think feelings and emotions are something that should be kept inside. They see it as a sign of weakness and think that it's a made up problem or something that should never be mentioned. This mindset hurts people, keeping things inside and leaves them with nowhere to turn. The effect sorry. The effect of that can lead to self-harm and or suicide. Elementary school was rough. When first grade started, I was having trouble learning to read. I was held back twice and became 2 years older than all of the other children. I'd tell people how old I was and they'd bully me. I started special classes and learned that I had autism. This was hard because we didn't know how it would affect my education or how it would affect me socially. Being autistic has always set me apart from the people around me. I feel like it has made me stand out in a way that was different from other people. I did and thought of things differently than the average person. Most teachers weren't very accepting of that and didn't understand my need to do things differently. I feel like my autism has really given me a different view of the world that most people don't have. I've grown to not see it as a hindrance, but more of a new perspective. I see things very black and white and don't understand most social cues, which was always hard growing up since I didn't get along with most kids. I never really made friends easily or understood people too well. I don't have the same boundaries as other people and don't always realize when I'm saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. My feelings would get hurt easily since I wouldn't understand when kids are joking or being sarcastic. I always took things too literally. I still struggle with these things now in my day to day life, but the important thing is I'm learning to cope. I still don't understand social cues and people's different tones, so it's important for me to surround myself with people who understand my thought process. It's made me realize how important it is to just be yourself. You shouldn't have to change yourself or dial down your personality to fit in with other people. You should always be who you are and accept your faults. Being judged by adults really hurt me. You'd think people who were older know more and are more understanding, but they aren't. People judged me without knowing me. At age 5, I was diagnosed with ADHD. I was held back in kindergarten because we had to figure out medications that would work for me. Sorry. Um, it took a year, but through trial and error, we found a great medication that worked. My mom made it a normal conversation on how the medication made me feel. At age 6, I was diagnosed with Tourette's. If you don't know what that is, it's involuntary movement or speech. Unfortunately, I have both. There is not a lot of awareness around Tourette's. I think that there needs to be more education given to students because it can help prevent a lot of bullying to kids who do have it. Having Tourette's has caused me a lot of anxiety, which started to hurt my mental health. All of my friends went to different schools, and I was in a new school all alone. I became deeply depressed in 6th grade. It was a very bad year for me. I still have problems talking about all the emotions and difficulties I went through. I never shared my struggles with anybody. Drawing and horses became my major coping mechanisms. I would keep a notebook on the side of my desk in all my classes and draw when I had anxiety. I also ride horses competitively, and my horse always makes me feel so much better. I learned different coping skills from my therapist and choose the ones that work the best for me. It's really important to not let yourself fall and to ask for help when you need it. It is important to know that not everyone out there is trying to hurt you. You'll find friends who you can discuss your mental health with. People made fun of me, and the harder I tried to hide my Tourette's, the worse it became. The tics were getting worse. I was now having vocal tics that were hard to hide and got me in trouble in class because teachers thought I was being disrespectful. I spent 8 hours a day in complete silence. It was the worst year of my life. I felt so alone and unsure of who I was. People would only talk to me when they needed a pen or answers. I've had very few teachers step in to stop the bullying and get to know me. I cried a lot because I hated my life and myself. I started cutting, but it didn't help. Then I felt like I wanted to die. My mom immediately got me an appointment with my psychiatrist. My social anxiety and depression were addressed by my new psychiatrist. It was scary, and I felt like the doctor was judging me, but and really pushed me out of my comfort zone. We started on medication for depression and some counseling. I started telling my mom I felt better, but that was a lie. Sometimes I felt worse or even sick. Finally, I learned that in order to find the right medication, I need to be honest with myself, my doctors, and my family. It took about a year and a half to find a good medication combo. I had to be responsible and honest about every aspect of my medication. Seventh grade was better. I made a friend who is outgoing. She helped me meet other kids and come out of my shell. Seventh grade was a good year with the combo of medication and therapy. I had a new 504 plan that allowed me to draw when I was done with my work, which helped me tick less and kept my mind focused to help deal with my ADHD. We worked with teachers that were aware of my issues and made it easier to talk to a few of them. People still made fun of me, and not everyone liked me, but that was okay. Even though things weren't perfect, I was happy. I became a competitive rider and even made friends at the barn. I still had a hard time talking to people, which caused some conflict, but I kept learning how to talk and approach people. I also began to see that my autism had major benefits. I understood school, and math quickly became my favorite subject. My mind was fast moving and able to comprehend a lot quicker. Then the pandemic hit, and we started doing Lee virtual school. It was amazing for me. I loved to learn, and I loved the freedom it gave me. I also loved that I had no one picking on me all day. I had friends who I kept in touch with, and I kept in touch with them, but not being judged and able to focus on schoolwork worked for me. I found that the few friends I had were all that I needed, and I could focus on my writing. I wasn't picked on or made fun of anymore, and I felt less anxiety. Not being accepted for who I was hurt me from a very young age. I was afraid of what people will think and say. I never had friends because I was always the weird girl who never talked to anyone. I wanted friends but hated socializing. Sorry. I thought I was alone. I wanted to be anyone but myself and tried too hard to fit into this perfect picture that didn't exist. Then I realized I didn't socialize, and yes, I have anxiety, and that's okay. It's not something that I can just get over. Medication doesn't fix everything. You need to work on accepting yourself. Some days my depression will be worse than others, and that's okay too. It's okay to have bad days. You can't just keep everything bottled up inside. You have to be able to talk to people about what's going on. Medication isn't a cure all. I still have anxiety, depression, Tourette's, autism, and ADHD. Find things that bring you joy. If you can find good in the little things, you can build on that. Struggling with mental health is hard and you can't conquer it on your own. You need a support system. A support system can be anyone, a relative, a friend's parent, a teacher, or anyone you feel safe with. I know when I have a dark day, my mom is always someone I can talk to. I also have a couple of friends who struggle with mental health issues, and I can talk to them. My family has never let me feel bad for any of my issues, and everyone needs that kind of love and support. Standing up here in front of you, I can tell you that it will get better. You need to talk to people and reach out for help. Sometimes you need medication and sometimes you don't. Just know that there are groups and hotlines you can call if you feel suicidal or really depressed. Talk to your parents, your teachers, your friends, and anyone who will listen. I know it may be kind of cheesy, but if me telling you my story helps one person realize they can get help too, then this whole speech is worth it. Take charge of your mental health. It's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay that way. And that's kind of the motto you have to live by. Thank you.